Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Game Master Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today's video I'm going to continue my coverage of Adventurer Conqueror King 2nd Edition, often referred to as Acts 2. This is the Imperial Imprint, and I'm going to go through this particular chapter, which is on the classes, and I'm going to really break this down into much smaller pieces. That way, it's easier for you to follow along with. It'll be a shorter video, and it also allows me to focus on just 2 classes, possibly 3, during each part. So, without further ado, I'm going to jump right into going into the character classes, the first 2. These are the core classes, so there are 6 core classes, and I'll be handling these 2 at a time. So let me just shift views here. So I am, of course, referring to Adventurer Conqueror King 2nd Edition. This is the revised rule book. You can see how huge this thing is, and it's an absolutely gorgeous set of books. The art is phenomenal. The layout is very, very good, and you'll see the art as I go through the PDF along with you. So I'm going to shift one more time, and so here we go. So going to expand this view a little bit, and I want to double check to make sure that I am not, my picture-in-picture up in this top corner is not taking up too much of your view. So as I explained, there are 6 character classes that are considered the core classes, and these are the core human classes, and that is Fighter, Explorer, Thief, Mage, Crusader, and Venturer. And then the additional classes, the non-core additional classes, are going to be Assassin, Barbarian, Bard, Blade Dancer, Paladin, Priestess, Shaman, Warlock, and Witch. So I am going to be covering all of these over the next couple of weeks, and the 1 week that I'll be away on vacation. So, but this I will carry through and do a lot of coverage on Adventure Conqueror King 2nd Edition over the course of the summer. So we're going to move right on to the core classes. Fighter. So the key attribute of the fighter is strength. There are no prerequisites. The hit die are a D8, and the maximum level is 14. So as you can see here, and titles do become important for Adventure Conqueror King, because this system really does cater to domain play. And so I wanted to focus on these titles so that you can see that they become a true named class at level 9, Warlord, and then the maximum class is actually called an Overlord. So I really like that aspect of this. So fighters are experts in the arts of combat and war. In the Oran Empire, fighters might have learned their arts as legionaries, or cataphracts. In the Imperial Army, gladiators battling for glory in the arena, raiders off the Jutland coast, or sell swords in the games of noble houses. Combat characteristics. Combat proficiencies. Fighters have weapon proficiency with all weapons, armor proficiency with all armor, and fighting style proficiencies with all 3 optional styles: dual weapon wielding, two-handed weapons, and weapon and shield styles. Combat progressions. Fighters advance in attack throws and saving throws by 2 points every 3 levels of experience. They increase their battle damage roll from successful missile and melee attacks by +1 at 1st level, and by an additional +1 at 3rd, 6th, 9th, and 12th. They can cleave after killing a foe a maximum of once per round per class level. All right, so they can cleave after killing a foe a maximum of once per level. So if it's a second level character, they can cleave up to 2 times following killing a foe. Starting class powers, they have Manual of Arms. The fighter is highly experienced in military discipline, physical fitness, and weapon drill. He can automatically identify the battle standards, equipment, great captains, military slang, and rank insignia of his homeland. He can identify those of other realms with a proficiency throw of 11 plus. He can fight as a regular rather than irregular in formed and loose outfits. He can begin play as a member of a legion, mercenaries guild, or other military organization, the judge's discretion. This class power is equivalent to 1 rank of Manual of Arms proficiency. Additional class powers. At 5th level, they gain battlefield prowess. The fighter's presence inspires troops he leads. Any henchman and mercenary hired by the fighter gain a +1 bonus to their morale score whenever he personally leads them. This bonus stacks with any modifiers from the fighter's charisma and proficiency. Castle at level 9. By acquiring a castle or fort worth at least 15,000 gold pieces, the fighter can attract followers to his service. 5d6 times 10 0-level troops and 1d6 fighters of 1st to 3rd level arrive to serve him within 1d3 months of him acquiring the castle. If the fighter already has a castle, the followers arrive to serve him within 1d3 months of him reaching 9th level. The fighter must pay his followers the ordinary rates for mercenaries and henchmen on their leave his service. In time, the fighter might become a great lord, commanding armies to conquer vast realms. Additional rules for the castles are detailed in campaigns chapter page 3033. And so here we have their attack and saving throws, and as you can see, from 1st level all the way through 14th, and we have all of their saving throw bonuses. So paralysis, they need to roll a 13 or above, and at 14th level, they only need a 4 or above. So you can see it is a roll over for saving throws. Class proficiencies, I've already read these. They get a +1. At 1st level, fighters select 1 class proficiency from their class proficiency list and 1 general proficiency from the general proficiency list. They select an additional class proficiency at 3rd, 6th, 9th, and 12th. They select an additional general proficiency at 5th, 9th, and 13th. Fighter proficiency list: acrobatics, alertness, berserker gang, blind fighting, combat ferocity, combat reflexes, combat trickery, which is in disarming, forcing back, knocking down, overrunning, sundering, wrestling, command, dungeon bashing, expertise, fighting style specialization, leadership, Manual of Arms, military strategy, mounted combat, precise shooting, riding, running, siege engineering, skirmishing, swashbuckling, unarmed fighting, weapon finesse, weapon focus. And there are fighter templates, so you can either roll, a template, or you can create one or select one. So a thug, combat ferocity and intimidation. The starting equipment is a short bow quiver with 20 arrows, morning star, scarred leather armor, wool tunic and pants, embossed belt, low boots, backpack, water skin, 1 week's irons rations, and encumbrance is 4/6 ST. I'll go into encumbrance later to extrapolate what those actual mean. But again, you can choose a template, you can roll randomly for a template, and I would assume that you can also create your own templates along with the cooperation and approval of your judge. The Explorer. Explorer, the key attribute is con. Requirements are none. Hit die is a d6. Maximum level is 14. Remember, these are all the core classes for humans. Explorers are scouts, settlers, and survivors surveyors hardened to the challenge of the wild. Few adventuring parties would dare the wilderness without an experienced explorer to guide them. Within the Oran Empire, an explorer might be an imperial scout from the legions, a barbarian hunter from the northern forests of Jutland, or a settler pushing past the borders of the empire. Combat characteristics. Because weapons and armor are cumbersome and exhausting on long journeys, explorers tend to stay lightly equipped and prefer to evade foes where possible. That said, many fighters have underestimated explorers to their peril, for they are skilled archers and warriors when they need to be. Their combat proficiencies. Explorers have weapon proficiency with all missile weapons and with all tiny, small, and medium melee weapons. They have armor proficiencies with medium, light, and very light armor. They have fighting style proficiencies with all three optional styles: dual weapon, two-handed, and weapon and shield styles. Combat progression. Like fighters, explorers advance in attack throws and saving throws by 2 points every 3 levels of experience. They increase their base damage roll from successful missile and melee attacks by +1 at first level, and by an additional +1 at 3rd, 6th, 9th, and 12th level. They can cleave after killing a foe a maximum of once per round per class level. So looking at their range here, they become a warden at level 9, and then a lord warden at their maximum level of 14. So their starting class powers, they have alertness. Explorers are always alert to danger. An explorer gains a +1 bonus to avoid surprise. When using adventuring proficiency to search or listen, he succeeds on a proficiency throw of 14+ instead of the usual 18+. If separately proficient in searching or listening, he gains a +2 bonus to his throw instead. Ambushing. Explorers are skilled at ambushing unprepared enemies. An explorer can ambush any vulnerable opponent. Ambushes can be made in melee or with missile weapons at short range, but cannot be made with missile weapons at medium or long range. When ambushing, an explorer gets a +4 bonus on his attack throws and deals an extra die of damage on attack. This class power is equivalent of ambushing proficiency. Animal reflexes. Explorers react to danger as fast as a deer to a wolf. An explorer gains +1 bonus to initiative and +1 bonus to avoid surprise. This bonus stacks with the bonus from alertness, so in most cases explorers have a +2 bonus to avoid surprise. And here we have their attack and saving throw chart. And endurance is a skill, so explorers are inured to the hardship and fatigue of travel. When exploring, an explorer does not need to rest every 6 turns. An explorer can force march for 1 day without penalty. plus 1 additional day for each point of Constitution bonus. This class power is equivalent to Endurance Proficiency. Evasion. Explorers learn to avoid wild beasts of the wilderness. When the explorer guides the party in familiar territory, the party gains plus 5 bonus to proficiency throws to evade wilderness encounters. The explorer's party can evade wilderness encounters even when surprised, provided the explorer is not surprised. See evasion for more details on the evading encounters. Pathfinding. Explorers rarely lose their bearings, even in trackless wilderness. When the explorer guides a party in familiar territory, the party gains a plus 4 bonus on proficiency throws to avoid getting lost. See Wilderness Expeditions for more details. Natural stealth. As hunters and wilderness scouts, explorers are naturally sneaky. Opponents suffer a -2 penalty to surprise rolls when encountering an explorer approaching from outside line of sight or lying in wait in the cover of darkness. And we have the various templates for the explorer. Additional class powers. Experience and hardiness at level 5. The explorer, when an explorer reaches 5th level, a guide, his experience and hardiness reassure those who follow him into the wild, hirelings, or on a wilderness adventure led by the explorer gain a plus 1 bonus to their morale score. This bonus stacks with any modifiers from the charisma or proficiency. Border Fort, 9th level. By acquiring a border fort worth at least 15,000 gold pieces, the explorer can attract followers to his service 5d6 times 10 0-level troops and 1d6 explorers of 1st to 3rd level, arriving to serve him within 1d3 months of him acquiring the border fort. If the explorer already has a border fort, the followers arrive to serve him within 1d3 months of him reaching 9th level. The explorer must pay his followers the ordinary rates of mercenaries and henchmen, and so on and so forth. We already covered this. Explorer within 24 miles of a domain secured by a border fort never becomes lost and gains an additional plus 4 bonus to evade encounters because of his familiarity with the region. Additional rules for border forts are detailed in campaigns. Class proficiencies. Proficiency progression. First level explorers select 1 class proficiency and one general proficiency. And here are the class proficiencies. So beast friendship, climbing, combat ferocity, combat reflexes, combat trickery, same as the warrior or fighter. Driving, that is, driving a caravan or something along those lines. Eavesdropping, elven bloodline, fighting style, specialization, illusion resistance, land surveying, mapping, mountaineering, mounted combat, naturalism, navigation, passing without a trace, precise shooting, prospecting, riding, running, seafaring, skirmishing, sniping, swashbuckling, weapon finesse, and weapon focus. And so here we have what would be categorized as explorers, or at least an example of. I will get to Thief the next time. So, so as you can see, the character classes have, and these are the cores so far. They have weapon proficiencies and armor proficiencies, and then they have skills that are class specific. They all have so far a domain threshold. So once they gain 9th level so far, then they eventually acquire a fortress of some kind or an outpost. Then they will start attracting fairly large followings. As you can see, 5d6 times 10, 0 level followers. These are really setting up the players to start to think about the domain play. They have to provide for these followers, otherwise they may lose them. There may be, consequences for not maintaining the morale and happiness of your followers. And if you've already gone through the expense of either capturing a fort that you would convert to your own or building a fort, 15,000 gold piece minimum, 15,000 gold piece expenditure on your part, you're certainly going to want to maintain the morale of your followers. So I'm really looking forward to diving even deeper into the future character classes. So again, I'm going to be breaking these down. So I will do 3 videos on the core classes. I may do 3 videos because there are 9 non-core classes, and so I might break those down into groupings of 3 instead of breaking it out over 4 or more separate videos. But it really depends on a class, and if a class is significantly complex, I might just focus in on that class in just one video. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If there's anything you'd like for me to focus on, please feel free to jump out and do that. If you are already playing Adventure Conqueror King 2nd Edition, which I have not had the opportunity to play yet, if you're already playing it, let me know how things are going. If you're running it particularly, let me know how everything is going. And, I am intending to eventually run this game system, or at the very least, I am going to take the rules for domains and bring that into some of the other games that I'm already running. So I can certainly bring this domain play, at least the concepts of it, and possibly even the mechanics of it, into my Castles and Crusades campaign, or I can bring it into my AD&D 1st Edition campaign. However, at some point, I do intend to eventually run Adventure Conqueror King and a campaign there, but perhaps I might do that as a high-level campaign right from the get-go. So have the players start out at 9th level and focus in on that domain, and we'll have to have multiple sessions on how their characters got to that point and then start working from there. But that will be conceptually, for me, a completely different style of game mastery that I've never done before, starting off at a very high level instead of starting all of my players at and their characters at 1st level and building their way up to that point. So that will be a very interesting experiment for me to engage in, as a game master and even as a player as well. So again, I thank you for joining in. It's Friday, so enjoy your upcoming weekend. And as always, I look forward to seeing you at a gaming table or on screen sometime in the near future. My next convention is ShireCon. That is in Connecticut. That is September. I always have to reach back and grab the cards, and I don't have it in view here. But just look it up on drive-through. I'm sorry, not drive-through. On tabletop events, ShireCon. It is in September, so you'll find it there. It is in Connecticut, and it's a great convention to attend to. All right, you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining.